Hi everyone, welcome back to Chalchitra Talks. मेरा नाम ध्रुव है and in this week's recommendation I want to talk about a German series. The series is available on Prime Video. The name of the series is Deutschland 83. The series is a very interesting spy thriller. It's a period drama set in 1983 and it tells the story of a divided Germany at that time. So 1983 was a very interesting era. Germany was basically divided into two parts, East Germany and West Germany. East Germany was completely controlled by the Soviet Union and it had the Russian leadership calling all the shots. Whereas the West Germany was controlled by the US and France and UK and all of those countries. So East Germany had a very distinct communist structure to it, wherein everyone was talking from the perspective of a communist, whereas the West Germany had a very interesting capitalistic structure as the United States and all of those countries followed. The story gives us a very interesting take wherein we have this primary character of Martin, who is a resident of East Germany and he is a military officer and he is enlisted by the secret intelligence agency in East Germany to infiltrate into West Germany, to be a personal secretary to the general of the West Germany army, or to get the secrets out, because East Germany is constantly in the fear that Ronald Reagan, who is the US president at that time, is planning an imminent attack on Eastern Germany and probably waging a nuclear war against them. मैंने सीरीज का नाम काफी बार सुना था, but I never came across to actually watching it. And having recently watched it, I can say that it was a thoroughly enjoyable watch. जो सीरीज का premise है can also be similar to, you can say, another series which is The Americans, but जो सीरीज का treatment इन लोगों ने करा, that is what sets it apart. The series is made by a German couple. It has that source of authenticity behind it. Secondly, the fact that the series is not completely fact-based. There are real events mixed with the fictional elements that give a very unique vibe to the series. One of the most interesting things जो मेरे लिए सीरीज में थी वो थी कि इस सीरीज ने अपने आप को बहुत सीरियसली नहीं लिया. बहुत सारी सीरीज क्या होती हैं कि they end up taking themselves too seriously and they become a very dark and a very intense watch. This series has its fun elements. This series gives you those family drama elements mixed with the espionage thriller. At the same time, it's very intelligent. The performances are very convincing as well. जो लीड कैरेक्टर की परफॉर्मेंस है, वी सी हिम डूइंग कंप्लीट जस्टिस टू इट. सो ही इज लाइक अ कंप्लीट नॉविस टू द ट्रेड क्राफ्ट ऑफ हाउ अ स्पाई इज सपोज्ड टू बिहेव, हाउ अ स्पाई इज सपोज्ड टू एक्ट इन सर्टेन सर्कमस्टेंसेस. तो हम लोग देखते हैं कि जब उसको पहली बार ईस्ट जर्मनी से वेस्ट जर्मनी लेके जाते हैं, ही इज गिवन अ कंप्लीटली न्यू आइडेंटिटी ऑफ एन ऑफिसर हु is no longer there, but then he's assuming the identity of that officer. He is taught how to handle certain circumstances, how to make a fake identity for himself, how to decode certain messages and all of those things. So it's very interesting to see him going through that training. At the same time, the character played by German actor Jonas Ney brings a very interesting sense of authenticity to the character, wherein we see that he is not this full-fledged spy that we've sort of come to expect from these spy thrillers. He is a person who can make mistakes. He is a very smart person, but then he is a human at the end of the day, and we see him constantly being pulled between these two areas wherein he needs to serve his country, but then at times the country also asks him to do certain things which may not be completely right, which may not be completely true to his identity. So we see him constantly struggling with those things, because at the end of the day it's all shady politics. We see East Germany doing things which you would expect from Soviet Union at that time, like blocking art form, right? You cannot read certain author's book, and the opening sequence is very interesting wherein we see this primary character interrogating a couple of these youngsters who are trying to smuggle books of Shakespeare and Karl Marx into into Eastern Germany, and you're not allowed to consume literature apart from what the Eastern Germany government permits. The way they have catch the vibe of 1980s, especially with the way they've dealt with the music, it very accurately paints the vibe and the charm of that era. Or they have used tracks from David Bowie, and there are a lot of fun and peppy tracks you would see in these episodes. So it's as much as it's a spy thriller, it's also a coming of age drama wherein we see this primary character growing from just a normal boy to this guy who has so much responsibility and who's faced with so many new circumstances that he could never have thought of. इस शो के जो क्रिएटर्स हैं, इन्होंने इस शो को 3 पार्ट की सीरीज में पिच करा था when they were like looking for people to invest into the series. So the original series that we are talking about in this episode is called Deutschland 83. There is a follow-up series called Deutschland 86 which has already released, and it covers the time period of 86 in Germany and how things are moving in that time, and how Eastern Germany is investing into certain criminal activities or things like that. Similarly, there is the next follow-up and final part called Deutschland 89, which is supposed to release this year, and it very closely covers the fall of the Berlin Wall. And overall, it gives us a very cohesive understanding of what went at that time. Another very interesting aspect of the show is that every episode of the show is named after a very famous NATO exercise that was happening in that year. So overall, I would only like to say that if you are someone who is into watching historical period dramas and have an interest towards spy thrillers, Deutschland 83 can be a very fulfilling and satisfying watch for you guys. The fact that the series is in German actually worked in its favor, and I would say that it brought that sense of originality to the series. And after a point in time, I did not even find myself looking that much at the subtitles, because I really connected with the show and understand how the characters are trying to react in that particular moment. Just West German general के under we see this guy infiltrating into. He also becomes the part of his family life, and we see कि उस general की जो family है उसके साथ how his relations are evolving. So most of the series is conveyed within the parameters of the Western Germany, and we see कि किस तरह से वहाँ का lifestyle differ करता है Eastern Germany से, और ये जो primary character is living undercover in Western Germany, कैसे बहुत सारी चीजें उसको he finds them all at the same time he finds them interesting. So there is a scene wherein this character is going to a delegation for NATO, wherein they are having a meeting in a hotel, and he is just sitting at a table, and someone comes there and takes his order, and they are asking him to give him his room number, and he just politely says that I already have a girlfriend, and but thanks for the offer. So she tells her that no, it's actually that I would bill you to that room rather than actually wanting to be with you in that room. So there are a lot of elements which show the sort of cultural bridge that is broken because of this Cold War going between these countries. All of it essentially originated from World War II, when Germany got defeated, and the certain part of the country was taken up by the US and later came to be known as the West Germany, and the rest of the part got occupied by the Soviet Union, and basically the country was divided. And this entire decade of 1980 to 1990 covers the sheer magnitude of efforts that both these sides made to sort of convey that I am more powerful. And it's again US trying to beat Soviet, and Soviet trying to use their higher intelligence. So they always have their agents which are infiltrated deep into the system, and they can get more information, whereas US is always focused more on its military might and the sort of technological advancements they have in terms of the destruction that they're capable of. Over and above, it's a clash in the philosophy of these two sides. और ये पूरा decade covers the story until in 1990 when a leader from within Germany tries to reunify, and it's then called as the reunification of Germany, and falling of the Berlin Wall. If you guys are into this kind of historical period dramas and spy thrillers, I would say go ahead and give this series a shot. Do let me know if you guys ended up liking this series in the comment section below, and I will be back next week with more recommendation like these for you guys. Till then, stay safe and take care. Bye bye.